DHL Express U.S. CEO Greg Hewitt, great to talk to you here in your big Manhattan service center.
Welcome to DHL, Rhonda. It's great to have you here.
It's going to get really busy here soon, right? What are your expectations here as we head into the peak holiday season?
We're expecting big volume growth. We're already seeing 30% inbound volume growth all year. During the peak, we'll see that rise by 23%. In fact, in December, probably the 21st or 22nd, we're expecting about 250,000 parcels to be delivered that day alone.
In one day?
In one day.
So logistically, how do you make that happen? Do you hire more staff? Do you get more trucks in the field?
Yeah, really it starts in the summer. We've got to plan early. So we get the engineers together, we look at the volume projections, and then we do two things. We start to look at how we're going to supplement the fleet to make sure we've got the vehicles and the equipment, scanners and such. And then we start to look for additional seasonal help. So we'll increase our staff by about 12% during the peak season to make sure we have enough people on the road to deliver those packages.
So where is all this demand coming from?
Well, I think a lot of it's coming from, we're seeing a big inbound influx from our e-commerce customers, looking at trade lanes like China, Hong Kong, the UK, a lot of volume coming in. And we're seeing people in Canada and Australia buy a lot of U.S. goods online, so we're seeing a lot of outbound to those countries.
What's the biggest challenge as you kind of work your way through that peak season?
Well, I think one is making sure you've got the staff and the equipment to handle the volume. The other is that stretches you because it's above your norm. I think the other is because of the growing e-commerce sensation and more people are buying online, the delivery density changes. It means more deliveries being done to people's homes where they might not be home. They might not be there to receive it, and it might stretch us to drive a little bit further than we normally do.
So when you look at numbers like this, what does it tell you about what's happening with the U.S. economy?
Well, I think a couple of things it tells me. I mean, one thing, when the U.S. dollar is strong, what we see is a little less outbound volume, export volume, and what we see is a lot more consumers and companies bringing goods in, so the import volume goes up. So I mentioned that 30% number. That's really a focus of the inbound volume. Outbound, we're only seeing about 5% going out. So that strong U.S. dollar does stunt the export business a little bit.
Tell me a little bit about how you're competing against FedEx and UPS.
I mean, our competitors are very strong domestic players. They're born and raised here in the U.S. I think our focus is on international. We're looking at helping small and mid-sized businesses of all sizes, expand to markets around the globe that they may not have had access to before, by giving them that access to 220 countries through what we believe is the most extensive network in the globe.
One thing that's interesting in the U.S., we've got a lot of trucks behind you, but you've been experimenting with helicopter service, actually. Now, I'm wondering if that's something we'll see more of in 2016 in some of the other big cities.
Well, certainly it's been, for us, what we've looked at is some industry sectors like the financial community are looking for even tighter delivery windows. And so what we've looked at, one of the services we've launched is a helicopter pickup service here in Manhattan, out to JFK, on a next flight out to deliver in Canary Wharf in the financial district in London overnight. We've seen that in Chicago as well. We've done it in LA. So we're experimenting that in different financial centers to connect those communities.
How have you been helped, I assume, by lower gas prices? That's got to be good for margins this year.
Well, our customers have benefited all year. We haven't had a fuel surcharge. I think the one thing that is putting pressure on us is, as we have to do more and more delivery miles out to rural areas, even though the price may be less, we're using more fuel. So it's there's a give and take there. We'll see what 2016 has to bring.
Is there a lot of pricing pressure in your industry right now to keep those prices competitive, to try to grow the customer base, or do you benefit from those international customers that sets you apart a bit?
Well, I think there's always competitive pressures to have your price in line, and I think probably the biggest pressure we face is the online community, the people that are buying goods and wanting them delivered to them. They're still struggling with that balance between service and price, and obviously we want to make sure that we keep a healthy price for what we do for them from a delivery standpoint.
So what happens after that one peak day is over and all those packages have been delivered? What do you guys do to celebrate?
I don't know if we celebrate. The one thing we definitely do is make sure that nobody is disappointed over the holiday season. So all of my team will be making sure we look under every belt, in every corner, in every vehicle, and make sure that every package is delivered so nobody's disappointed at the holiday season. Then maybe we can relax and take a break for a day or two.
Greg Hewitt, it's been great talking with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rhonda.